Together with Hugh Matheson here in Poznan, and this is the lineup for the final of the men's single sculls. And the man that we're looking for is Marcel Hacker in lane 3, who's yet to...
No, it's not. It's Olaf Tufte in lane 2. He was off the picture to the right.
So the lineup on the far side is Andre Vonenberg, 11th in the World Championships last year, and as a result of that 11th place, qualified for the Olympics. Now here's the great Yuri Janssen, must be 39-40 something, I would think, Hugh. World single sculls champion for the Soviet Union back in 1990. Of course, these days representing Estonia and inspiring some Estonian youngsters. And here's Marcel Hacker. Well, he was world champion in 2002, and 2002 was the breakthrough, but last year only finished second, but he's quite accepting of that situation because he was beaten fairly by this man, Olaf Tufte, Itzhak Chop in lane number 4, and next to him will be the world champion Olaf Tufte. The first 4 from last year's World Championships in today's lineup, so this is really a world-class field that we've got here. There is the world champion Olaf Tufte, who by all reports is in very good condition, has been putting in some very good times indeed. And much more to talk about him during the race. And next to him, completing the lineup in lane 6, is Vaclav Chalupa. So just run down the field for you. Furthest away, Andre Vonenberg in lane 1 for Switzerland. Then it'll be Yuri Janssen, 2 from the top of your picture for Estonia. The world champion of 2002, Marcel Hacker, is in lane 3. Then Tufte, who's 3 from the bottom of your... then Itzhak Chop, who's in 4, is for Slovenia. The world champion Itzhak Chop back in 1995. And then Norway's Olaf Tufte and Vaclav Chalupa will be closest to you. So it really is a fantastic lineup. It is as good almost as the world final itself.
The leading characteristic of these athletes is their age. Once you're in single sculls and once you've, as it were, carved it out as your profession, it's your niche, then you stay in for a long time. So there we have Vaclav Chalupa, who first appeared in the single sculls field in 1989 when he won a silver medal, and we were talking about Yuri Janssen, who was world champion in 1990. Chop's been around for almost as long as those two, and Tufte spent a long apprenticeship in the Norwegian double scull before he came through and won the World Championships in the single in 2001. So these guys really know their trade. Marcel Hacker, he, as you pointed out, David, is the newcomer on the block, and he blew it all together in 2001 when he cracked in the semi-final, but then he really made amends the following year in 2002. But we feel he took the pressure off himself by not winning last year in Milan, because this year he comes into the Olympics with a completely fresh slate, and if he was holding on to a double world championship, he'd got a very slow start there. He dropped a couple of feet off the start, particularly compared to Itzhak Chop, who's naturally one of the fastest starters.
So away we go in the final of the men's single sculls, and we're going away with Marcel Hacker. All of these men who finished in the top 11 places in last year's World Championships have qualified personally for the Olympic Games. The men's single sculls and the women's single sculls, the two categories in which you make a personal qualification for the Olympic Games. It's then down to your National Olympic Committee and your National Federation to endorse that. But 3 from the top of the picture now, Marcel Hacker taking charge, which is what he likes to do, and chasing him most closely at the moment, Itzhak Chop for Slovenia. Itzhak, who's 31 years of age, from Bled Rowing Club, now reducing that advantage of Marcel's to about half a length. 2 from the bottom of the picture is Norway's Olaf Tufte. Now the Norwegian has done pretty well. What's interesting about Olaf Tufte at the moment is that he's the only Norwegian, and he's the only boat for his country that has qualified for the Olympic Games. They have prepared pretty meticulously. They had some summer or I should say warm weather training down in Seville. They've also, Olaf Tuft has been in March up to Siseralm at high altitude, which is something they've been doing for many, many years, the Norwegians, to do some cross-country skiing. And they've also been down to South Africa for more high altitude training. As we come to the end of the first quarter now, and it's still Hacker, but closely pursued by Istok Chop.
Chop they're all scudding along in a row. The Hacker, Chop and Tufte at 37 strokes a minute, and Chop decided that he'd better get back on terms, and he upped it to 38 just then, just to get back on a level. You can see the swallows really close to the water. That shows it's going to carry on raining for a bit longer there in the picture behind Hacker, almost disappearing in the mist.
It's interesting because I was going to say the relative positions, of course, last year in the World Championships in Milan, Hacker had to look left and right. He was the meat in the sandwich, and Chop is now really putting the effort here in the second quarter to try and test Hacker.
I think he's testing himself, he's testing the field. I don't think Chop will be just worrying about Hacker. Last year he used to keep him under pressure because he was concerned that Hacker felt unchallenged, and so he did race out in front of him a couple of times but let Hacker through at the end. It was as much as Chop could do, but he did soften him up so that when Tufte came for him in the World Championships final, it went Tufte's way.
Looking quite comfortable actually is Yuri Janssen, two from the top of your picture there, and he's very much on terms with Tufte in third place, and also Vonnerberg representing Switzerland, of course. He'll be very happy about that Zeno Müller, now a full American citizen, is actually going to try and reenact his triumph of gold from Atlanta in an American vest in Athens. We won't see Zeno, I'm sure, until Lucerne, because he doesn't like flying, but that's going to be a fascinating piece of the jigsaw when we put it into the Swiss water on the 20th of June.
Scullers are all down now to 32, 33. This is much more steady and race pace. I think they're probably beginning to feel the sort of the weight of the conditions, which are gently tailwind, but the dull, damp weather is probably getting into the bones, and they're settling down and just doing a bit of foxing towards the finish. But Hacker, we think, is still in front, having been challenged by Chop there, but the camera obviously thinks that he's the race leader.
Yeah, they're having one or two problems here, but it is Marcel Hacker and Istok Chop, the two principals, and well into the second half of the race now. And I must say he's a much more balanced character these days, isn't he, Marcel Hacker? He doesn't get upset. He wasn't upset in the way that he would have been a couple of years ago when he got the silver medal. He said, fair enough, I was beaten by a better guy on the day. I'll come back, I'll sort myself out, and we'll try again next year.
He's one of the ones, they all do in different ways, who works with a team psychologist, and it's a very mature sport, this. I said they're older guys. It takes a long time to get up there, and as Ian Lawson was telling us earlier on in the pre-broadcast, it's about knowing yourself, knowing your qualities, knowing your skills. We were wrong earlier when we said that Hacker was still in front. He isn't. We've got Chop front of the picture there with the baseball cap backwards on his head. We've then got Yuri Janssen in second place, leading Hacker, and with Olaf Tufte still absolutely in touch. They're all overlapping, these four, and anything could happen. But Tufte, the world champion, is in fourth place, with Yuri Janssen curious because he is a sculler who throughout his career has tended to sit at the back and come through late. Now they're entering the last 500 meters, and he's just taken the lead there.
Yes, he's timed it beautifully, and I think he's got there very economically as well, because just looking at his splits there, 141.45, 146.01, and the last quarter 143.70, just upped it, but he's seemingly come there with a lot of power, a lot of strength, very clear in his mind, which is always vital when you're single sculling, to know your purpose and know where you're going. And he's pulled out now over Istok Chop, something like 3/4 of a length. He is the elder statesman, the senior man of the class, but Chop now beginning to counter-attack there. And this is going to be interesting. Does Yuri Janssen have the strength to hold off a renewed challenge from Itzhak Chop. And where is Tufte? Because I would have expected him to have shown himself a little bit more. As you can see, there's Marcel Hacker in third place. There's the bow of Tufte's skull. Now, is he going to come with the right rattle in the last 250? Because we have heard that he's got some really good sprinting speed.
Chop is chasing at 36.5 strokes a minute, but it's Janssen still at 37 in front, and he looks like he's still got the steam to go there. He's actually increasing his lead. He's gone out to quarter a length of open water and has this field absolutely trailing behind him. He's getting stronger and getting further away as they are not slowed down. They are really fighting. Hacker and Chop now level for second place.
And it is Marcel Hacker who's just about got second place as they come towards the line. And here comes Olaf Tufte with a real burst on the near side. Bottom of the picture. He's coming in now to maybe grab even second place. I don't think he'll quite do it. Hacker gets second. Chop is third. Tufte just showing him that the power and the speed's there. And I wonder whether that's another piece of canny sculling there, because Tufte came with real pace towards the end there, and I think he's left quite a bit to do, and he's just left uncertainty in all of the minds of his major opponents there. Victory to Yuri Janssen, a World Cup success, all credit to him.
All these scullers train on their own, and there is nobody in their countries who is the same speed as them, so the best that they can do is train against a lightweight double or something like that to get some sort of pacemaking. This is the first real test they have in their season, and they're all finding their legs, and it's Janssen is triumphant there that his legs were the ones that came through strongest. There we are, 500 meters to go, and sorry, that's 500 meters gone, and Hacker was the leader. The next quarter, Chop was the leader. The next quarter, Estonia, and so at the finish.
Yeah, 1:42.31 for Tufte's final quarter. Yuri Janssen, though, better than that, 1:42.11, which is why he actually got the victory. But Norway, Tufte travelling faster than Hacker and faster than Chop in that last 500 metres. I think that's something to watch out for.
Tufte came up to 43 strokes a minute, 42.5, 43, as he closed across the line. And that was a little finishing sprint. As I said, he didn't know his pace compared to the other scullers of this calibre. He was testing it all, and he just came up at that last burst because he managed to put more